A singular obsession with a narrow, impossible image cost a retail giant its entire soul. By the year 2019, the glossy, hypersexualized wings that once defined global pop culture were becoming nothing more than heavy lead weights dragging the brand into a bottomless pit of market irrelevance. This wasn't just a failure of fashion trends, it was a structural rot birthed from the corner office of a man who believed the world would never change its mind about what women should look like. Les Wexner, the architect behind the Elle brand's empire, built Victoria's Secret on a foundation of theatrical fantasy. For decades, the Angels, a curated roster of supermodels with gravity-defying hair and million-dollar smiles, dominated the airwaves. Every December, millions tuned into a televised spectacle that felt more like a state event than a runway show. But while the glitter rained down on the stage, the reality inside the corporate boardroom was increasingly disconnected from the streets of America. Wexner's inner circle, most notably the predatory associate Jeffrey Epstein, cultivated an environment where the brand's image was shielded from scrutiny by pure, unadulterated power. Then came the shift. The modern consumer began demanding authenticity over artifice. While competitors like Aerie were busy capturing the hearts of Gen Z by using real, unretouched bodies and promoting genuine comfort, Victoria's Secret stayed trapped in its 1990s time capsule. They doubled down on the fantasy, refusing to acknowledge that the market had moved on to functional, inclusive, and diverse messaging. They weren't just losing sales, they were losing the cultural argument. Here is the reality of their arrogance. They ignored 40% of the potential market because it didn't fit their sexy blueprint. Marketing executives publicly doubled down, refusing to cast transgender models or plus-sized individuals, claiming it would destroy the fantasy of the brand. It was a business death wish wrapped in expensive lace. The decline was swift and merciless. Store foot traffic evaporated as the once coveted flagship locations turned into ghost towns of unsold push-up bras. Behind the curtains, the rot was deeper than just bad PR. A toxic culture of misogyny, bullying, and fear permeated the corporate headquarters, where executives were reportedly intimidated into silence. The brand had become a relic of a dying era, completely incapable of pivot or evolution. Investors watched in horror as the stock price cratered, wiping out billions in shareholder value while the leadership continued to trade on a brand equity that had been dead for years. When the truth finally breached the surface, the collapse was total. The iconic fashion show was cancelled, and the brand was sold off in a fire sale that signaled the end of an era. The lesson here isn't just about marketing, it's about the lethal danger of living in an echo chamber of your own making. Leaders who become addicted to their own historical success often lose the ability to see the writing on the wall until the wall is literally crashing down on top of them. Victoria's Secret tried to reinvent itself too late, rebranding with real women campaigns that felt synthetic and hollow to a skeptical public. The damage to the brand's identity was terminal. It serves as a haunting reminder that in the hyper-fast world of modern retail, the moment you stop listening to your customer, your competitors are already drafting your obituary. They thought they were selling a dream, but in the end, they were just selling a lie that nobody wanted to buy anymore. If you find these corporate cautionary tales as fascinating as I do, you must watch our deep dive into the collapse of the Sears empire, where internal politics and ego turned a retail titan into a graveyard of real estate. And if you are still here, think about the brands you buy every day. Are they actually serving you, or are they still trying to sell you a fantasy from 20 years ago? Let's have a real conversation. Do you think any brand that has alienated its core demographic can ever truly recover, or is a total identity reset just a desperate marketing facade?